everybody, it's Emily from Vintage Polka Dot Shop, and today I thought we could add a curved spine to this old book and turn it into a journal. Here's one. I haven't decorated any of these yet, but see, you'll end up with a little bit of a curve. So that's what we're going to do today. Come along and join me if you like. I'm so excited to start a new journal. New journals. I've got, I'm probably doing too many. I don't know how to do like one. So right now I'm doing 5. Let's see how many I get done. And then part of my series, oh, by the way, I just stopped. I just figure, you're hanging out with me crafting. I won't tell you what I'm doing. For the curved spine, you need 2 regular paper towel tubes. When I did my Raggedy Ann and Andy journals, I only had 1. And so I used toilet paper tubes on the inside, just in case you know. So then what I like to do is kind of make it a little less curvy. We don't want it too curvy. So you could use anything. I happen to have a brayer in my craft room. I don't know why I have a brayer. I don't think I've even used the brayer, but I guess if you craft long enough, you accumulate supplies. So what you're going to do is you're going to use 1.5 of these paper towel tubes. And if you don't have any in your house because you haven't saved them, or maybe you don't even use paper towels. I have a friend that hardly ever uses them. You might be able to use wrapping paper tubes, maybe, if they're thick enough. Toilet paper tubes just by themselves won't work unless you're doing a short journal. But turns out you can buy them. I almost did this until I put feelers out to everyone. You can buy, just like anything, you can buy them on eBay. And there are some sellers there that are not hardly charging anything. So I squished it, as you saw, and I'm using that as my line to cut it. You want to do the best job you can at cutting it straight-ish or on the line, but I am not a perfect crafter. I'm very messy by nature, and so after 50 plus years on this earth, I have accepted there's some things, like, where did I hide? Oh, right here. Oh my gosh. There are some things I just can't do. Cut in a straight line is one of them. Craft tidily is another, though I do the best I can. So now this second one is much easier because you don't have, well, for obvious reasons. So we're gonna go ahead and cut these. I guess I could have cut the other one ahead of time so you didn't have to watch me, but hopefully maybe you're crafting with me. I am gonna have some vintage Little House on the Prairie books. That's what the theme is kind of going to be for these journals. And so when I get these journals done, I'll have kits listed, but I'll also just have the book. So if you want to do something, because I've been planning on doing this for years, and so when I plan on doing something for years, I tend to end up with a lot of stuff because I'm always looking for it. So there will be quite a bit. And the style of these journals that I'm making are going to be inspired by the books, but also by the television series. So I'm kind of shooting for things that look old, but also I'm using fabrics from the 70s and the 80s. Okay, so we've got these. We only need 3, so we can save another one. Save the odd one for another journal. Waste not, want not. And I'm just I like to these will still have a curve, but I like to manipulate them. You know what I did on the other ones, this would have been smart, is I cut them before I cut them in half. But that's okay. I got to cut the length. So we're going to just use, I'm going to set that aside for a second because this will be a little easier. Now, you can see this one no longer has its spine. I kept the 3 that were in the worst condition for myself to craft with. The others I have are in better shape. So this one doesn't even have the spine anymore. It had old tape. And I haven't really looked at the others I have, but these were pretty much glued. I had one that was like, had most of the spine, and the spine is glued to the book block. So it doesn't even like come off very well. So you would probably want to build, if you're going to alter this and make it into a journal, you would want to add some type of new spine for it, is my guess. I haven't looked through all of them. Oh, look at this. Given to me by Grammy and Granddaddy, September 16th, 1957. And it was Peggy's. Isn't that cute? Oh, I'll have to cut that out and trying to see. So that means this is probably a very early edition of this book. Yeah, so this with the Garth William pictures came out in 1953. So it's a couple years old, but old, you know. So I'm just using my handy dandy, very dirty Martha Stewart craft knife. I love it because the thing to twist the blade is down here and not up here. And I'm kind of paranoid with knives. So I'm just cutting, since I'm not saving the spine or anything, I'm just cutting down. There's one. And then I have all this wonderful material to use in my journals. So gorgeous illustrations. So there we go. All cut. And now I'm just going to use that. We don't need that. Put that behind me, out of the way. I'm just kind of cleaning up the edges here, kind of trying to make them straight. So for the spine, we're using paper towel tubes to have that nice curved thing. You could just use chipboard and have a flat spine. You could do whatever you want. You know, this is just how I'm doing it. And this is not straight by a long shot. I don't want to fuss with it too much, but see, I think for this one, I'm just going to go all the way up to the cover. There we go. One of these I had, the cover wasn't even attached anymore. It was still there, but it wasn't attached. Okay, so maybe I should do, I'm just going to cut this one. Might as well make a match. And I'm leaning into the book board with my scissors to try to help me get it straight. And using these handy dandy Tim Holtz. All right, let me go this way. Trying to get it semi-straight. We're gonna do our best, but also manage my expectations. Okay, so let me kind of clean up. And I'm sorry if this is kind of glary. It's because we're gonna be whipping out the Mod Podge here in a little bit. Alrighty, so now I've got this. I want my, just gonna push it flat. I'm not gonna measure because I remember from the other two, it's not like a even amount or something. So we're gonna go, can you see? I'm just gonna bring you down for a second and then put you back up. But if you can see, I am like, so it's, because we want this, maybe it shows, because that's conveniently yellow. We want that to be all the way to the edge. Flip it back. Got my handy dandy pencil. There we go. And I think I'm just gonna, oh, well, that was silly. That's not that big a deal. Well, I'm gonna cut this with my paper cutter, which you can't see, so talk amongst yourselves for a second. All right, putting this down. Sorry, I just didn't want to put it in shot. Okay, so, let's cut. So, I'll do the other two at the same time. And what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, you don't need to be that close anymore. You can back up a little bit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did you take your Dramamine before watching this? I probably should put a warning there. Okay. Alrighty. You know what? I'm just going to cut these with my skizzers. I don't want to turn my back on you. I'm not saying anything, you know, but I don't want to turn my back on you. All right. Oh, look at that. They're 2 different lengths. I wonder if it's because this is bent. Let's check. We really need them to be the same. Okay, so the one on top looks like it will work. Alrighty. Done. Recycling. Alrighty. So, okay, now I have to ask you a serious question, and that is, where did you put my bottle of fabric tack? My 3-in-1. Actually, it's 3-in-1. I know you put it somewhere. Where'd you do it? There it is. Ha! You thought you could hide it from me, but you could not. All right, so we're going to just start, and we are not going to be light-handed with the glue, my friends. Oh, no, we are not. We're going to cover it well. Yeah, so with the paper towel tubes, what I did, this is funny, I just put it out to my friends, to my buds, my family. I said, save your paper towel tubes. I had one friend, she's like, I could save my toilet paper tubes. I said, no, I can gather enough toilet paper tubes just with my husband and I. But paper towels, we don't go through as much. And so I put it out, and now I have a ton of paper towel tubes. So I'm just kind of using my brayer here to make sure it's got a good cling here. All right. Now, I think we will flip this that way because it also has a little bit of, I probably should have cut that off, but oh well. That would have been the smart thing. So something to think about if your paper towel edges are crinkled, maybe cut the middle, you know, like cut the parts that aren't crinkled, cut around it. I mean, because you got plenty of length in a paper towel thing, but I did not do that. So now I'm having to just live with the consequences of not thinking. This is one of the problems with doing stuff on YouTube, is you're so busy concentrating on what you're saying and trying to make sure you say what you need to say to everybody that you don't think about little things like that sometimes. And I don't like my videos to be too long. Okay, so trying to get this, the top and the bottom part is more important to me than the width part. I mean, you could see, I don't know if you can see how they're not even. I'm even thinking I might trim that down. I don't know. I've only made a couple journals doing it this way. And my concern is with me that I will cut crooked. So I'm going to take a beat here, and I don't think I will. It is just going to have fabric over it, but let me see how wide is it? Because I'd like them all to be the same width too. So it is like 2.5, which is just about right. It's just a hair under that. So I don't think I am going to cut it. I'm just going to live with it. Okay, so even with all that manipulating, see, you get just a nice subtle curve. Not too much. And now it should be glued pretty solidly. So, step 2. Is this step 2, step 4, step 5? The next step, there we go, the next step. So, we're going to take our curved spine, and we need to attach it to these. So, what I did was I cut a piece of, I don't think this is muslin, I think this is toweling, but, you know, just a simple piece of fabric. It's not going to show. And it's about 6 inches wide, give or take a little bit. And then it's a little bit shorter than the spine, or it should be. I kind of cut it using the other one. So, because once you get it flat, it will kind of spread out. And then these will be the little flippity flappities that we can use to attach that. So, once again, not going to be stingy with the glue. And you could use just whatever glue you like. It does not have to be... I happen to like the 3-in-1. I have a problem with the art glitter glue just getting kind of globby and clobby, and I know that I have it and it's a good glue. But I just like this one. I guess I'm too old to switch or something. All right, so we're just gonna glab that down here. That's why advertisers don't like people, don't like people like me. It's like, get set in our ways. Hard to get us to change. Alrighty, so got that. And now we're just gonna stick that puppy in there. Kind of center it, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe I'll even just use my roller again. Get that glue in there. Get that in there. All right, I think I'm done with that for today. See, and here's another thing I kind of do. It's not too bad. I'm not going to worry about it. Go over the edge. That's why I like it a little bit shorter because, that's how I roll. All righty. So, we got that. And now we need to attach our covers. And I'm going to be using my nasty. I have a nice bone folder. And I have a nasty one that I've had for a long time with a chipped edge. And I've had this a really long time, which is why it's so gross. Because I didn't use it for paper crafting that much. Okay, so what I like to do is I have my pencil. You can eyeball this. You want a little bit of a gap because your fabric that's gonna would you like to see the whole book? I am so sorry. Let's see here. I am not. Oh boy, Dramamine definitely need to come with. Maybe I can move forward a little bit. There we go. I apologize. Okay, so we want to get the top and the bottom lined up, and then I kind of like just to use my Tim Holtz ruler, the flat part as kind of as a little guide or a spacer. And then we're going to just line that up like that. Let's see, I think that will work. And as you can see, it's a little crooked right here. So I did it more where it was like straighter. I don't think it will be that big a deal once we get the whole journal put together. I usually find with crafting, if you get caught up in the minutia, the little things, you can kind of, once you put everything together, all the mistakes kind of just give it character. I want that a little bit further out, I think. So I'm not going to get hyper about it, if you know what I mean. It will work out in the end, and it will be fine. Just hang in there. A journal's got so many bits and pieces to it that not every single bit of it's going to be perfect. And on this one, I did a floral. So florals are wonderful. Very, very forgiving. Okay, we're going to move in a little bit. Here we go. And I'm kind of pushing, I am pushing against, you don't have to do this. I just like to have an eyeball for my glue. Alrighty. And I will probably eyeball it more when I put the covers down. Alright. There, come on, glue. I should have filled this before I turned on my phone. Sorry. Alright, here we go. Trying to keep this a decent length, not too long. And you can always pause it and rewind it. And I do that when I'm learning from videos. Okay, so got lots of glue because I'm going to leave that on its side. Now, kind of use my pencil thing as a guide and my eyeballs. The big deal is you want to make sure that the top and the bottom are on there, and that feels good to me. Like I'm using my fingers just to kind of feel it, make sure that they feel good. I'm not going to worry too much about like this bigger gap. All right, now this side. Oh, look at that. It's going now. It's not camera shy anymore. I got that glue going. Alrighty. Yeah, so I'm having fun with these journals. I've been collecting, not only have I been collecting Little House on the Prairie books, appendium books, you know, things that kind of go along, like, well, you'll see. I'll share it at some point. But I've been collecting old calico fabric. So like on these that I'm making, all of them, the spines are actually fabrics from the 70s and 80s and have the, you know, all made by Peter Pan and VIP. And I don't even know if they're even in business anymore. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I really want this set up, and it doesn't take long, but I'm going to pause. I'm going to flip it up like this. And I don't really want that. Oopsie. Okay, I might trim. I don't know. I think this is sticking up further than I want. Oh, I'm going to use these scissors. It's just a hair. I think I'm getting caught in the minutia again. Okay, so I'm going to let this set up, and I'm going to pause the filming so you don't have to sit here and literally watch glue dry. And then as soon as it's dry, which shouldn't be very long, I'll come back and I'll turn it on and we'll do the next part. So in a second. Okie dokie. So this is dried and set up. So now we are going to add fabric to the spine. Now what I did was oops, somehow I managed to get glue on this. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but now it's on me. Hold on a second. Let me rub it off. Alrighty. So I cut this about 6 inches wide and then way longer than I needed it. And this is a piece of old calico. I got a whole bunch of it. I just love it. It's so pretty. Okie dokie. So now because this has this border, I know I didn't want it too long, or too wide, I mean. So you'll have to kind of give that some consideration as you're figuring out how wide you want to do yours. Now, also keep in mind that I'm going to use Mod Podge. I like Mod Podge because if I use fabric tack or 3-in-1, you have to like really smooth it so it doesn't get splotchy. And even then, as I said, I'm a messy crafter, and I feel like the Mod Podge gives a nice even coating, kind of like, you know, on this one, where it's just all nice and evenly. And see, it doesn't have, like, it's not soaked through, so it feels like fabric or whatever. So, anywho's, now it does take a while to dry, but I think that's worth it. You can hit it with a hairdryer, but I don't do that. And also, keep in mind, if you're doing it out of one of these old books, goodness gracious, keep fidgeting around, Emily, fidgeting. Okay, that you're gonna have, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take something, butter knife or your thing here, and we're gonna be sliding these in here, so they won't go all the way to the edge. And if you want a nice crisp edge, you don't have to, I sewed this, totally not necessary. Matter of fact, if you want a nice crisp edge, I recommend ironing it, but you could just tear it and have all the nice rustic, you know, things coming out, or just cut it, because I think on all these I'm going to put lace and some other things. So it's totally, you know, what works for you. So I'm using matte Mod Podge and a very tired old paintbrush. My aunt gave this to me when I was in high school, which was in the 80s. So it is on its last legs, but it still works. It was so cute. She made like a whole little, I was taking toll painting, and so she made me this whole kit of brushes and stuff. It was really fun. But this is the only one that survived, but that's pretty good. So I'm just slopping this puppy on there. If you go too heavy-handed, it might ooze, but you do want a substantial amount of glue. And then don't forget your channel here, or your crevice. So I'm gonna sit that down and start with the spine. Now I feel like get that smooth. That's why I made it super longer than I needed, so I wasn't having to wrestle with not having enough to go over the edge. And I don't know if you can see. See, I went a little heavy-handed and a little bit came through, but that will be all right. Just kind of wipe it with my fingers. My coffee-stained fingers, coffee-dyed, especially my fingernails. All right, so that's nice and smooth. Now we're going to take our, whatever you use to fit it in there and just really get it in there good. All right. And you kind of want to get this straight, but though I will be honest, it's probably not sewn straight because I just eyeballed it. So lace and trim is very forgiving. Matter of fact, while this was drying, I added this to that, and the front is pretty straight. Added some, as I said, I'm trying to do that throwback. So since these are like from the 50s, kind of have that, you know, 50s to 70s pioneer style. So I got old lace and stuff. This side I noticed was crooked. And so I've kind of used this rickrack and lace to kind of straighten it a little bit. So I figure the back isn't such a big deal, but you might want to measure more precisely if you're not going to add embellishments to kind of straighten it up, to kind of hide your mistakes. Okay, so this is kind of set for a little bit while I was talking, chit-chatting, really working on my little channel here. And now I like to, I've only made a couple of these, so I've tried different ways, but I found on the one I did earlier today, oh, am I going to sneeze? Oh, I might sneeze. Oh, I don't sneeze like a lady. Okay, I think it's going. Okay, so I actually just kind of flip it and then go, I try to get it to the edge. Now you could always go back with your regular glue. Oh, we got that. And actually, too, another thing you could do is just wait for the spine part to dry before you start doing this part, so you're not moving. And you just want to coat it. So maybe this is a do as I say, not as I do situation. Okay, so make sure your channel's good. And you can kind of manipulate it a little bit, but really make sure that this is in there so it doesn't pop out. It will give a nicer looking journal. And kind of finger press the edges. And I do the front first because I feel like the front is more important than the back. Okay, and I'm just pressing it. I could probably even get my roller out and do that if I wanted, but we're not going to do that. Okay, though it's tempting. That was kind of fun. All right, so let me do the back again. And as I said, just spread it out. Whoopsie. Ooh, that's not good. Just be careful. Oh my gosh. As I said, do as I say, not as I do. I just don't want to have it. There we go. I obviously cannot walk and chew gum and talk and juggle at the same time. Okay. Let's get that in there. Now, let's see if I can kind of manipulate I'm trying to wipe off. As I said, I know I'm going to put like lace or something, so I'm not too anxious about it. But if you can make it neat, it gives you more options down the road. Alrighty, so we're still working on it. We're still getting that in there, making sure it's down good. Alrighty, so flip that over, get out our scissors, and cut, make your slits. And then you can glue here if you want, but I'm just gonna put the glue directly on the fabric, pull it down, get a nice now the first one I did when I was playing around with it, I actually did the Mod Podge on the inside, just on the inside here. I did it on the outside, but I think I'm just going to do the edges because the signature block, the body of the journal is gonna, I'm gonna glue that straight to here. So it's gonna have that extra security. I don't think I need to. You could probably even trim this shorter so you don't have the bulk, and I might regret that I didn't. We'll find out when I get there. Maybe I'll have some words of wisdom. I'm not gonna post this video right away, so we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that I get by the time I get this video posted, I'll have gotten the signatures all together so I can show really quick how to, after this goes up, how I added them in case you need to see it. A lot of you probably don't need to, but it doesn't hurt to see how someone else does something. It's always interesting. Yeah, when I did that one with the green spine I showed you, and I went over it, I noticed it made it really stiff, but it also didn't stay that way, so it wasn't that big a deal. All right, as I said, you might, oops, oh boy, I'm just a bull in a china shop today. That's okay. That's my style. Bull in the china shop, that's my style. Oh, and you might want to put a little bit of Mod Podge on the edge. Totally up to you. It's not super thick, so it's not that big a deal. This might be a little heavy down there on the edge, and it might ooze out a little bit. I'll have to wipe it off. Yeah, I don't know if you can see how it's kind of oozing through the fabric, and I'll just, since my fingers already have glue on them, okay, here we go. And now you can see why I have something here protecting my mess, or my work surface here, because it's a wee bit messy. You could use wax paper. Freezer paper would be really good. I love using that. But I had this out from before. Okay, this is not down, so we're going to add a little bit more Mod Podge. Oops, rub it with my fingers. And now I still need to decorate these journals, but the covers, but I'm not going to do that in this video because I'm not 100% sure what I want to do yet. There's a lot of wear to these particular books, and so I think they might need like maybe some calico patches or something. Okay, so next. Hold on a second. Next, we're going to make sure the fabric is glued down. Alrighty. Okie dokie. So, we're going to take, we want to make sure that our channel is there. Sorry. Oh, and we're going to kind of put we want our book cover front and back kind of going like that, so we get this little thing. Rub your fingers down there. Make another channel. Oh, and stay in camera. Let me show you here that way so you can see. Now, it's going to need to dry. But I started, just before I started filming this one, I did another one of these, so I will show you. And I'm going to dry it standing up, I think. And I like, as I said, I spend some time here kind of manipulating it. All right, now we're going to just set that aside to dry. And this one is almost dry. Let me show you. Now, this was a stripe. I'm not sure if that was the smartest, wisest thing. But I think by the time I add lace and stuff, it won't matter. Because I didn't really measure. So it's a little crooked, see? It's not that big a deal. And I think when I put this old lace from definitely from the 60s or 70s, it's yellowed. You know, once I put that on there, I'll make sure it runs kind of straight to the fabric a little bit, maybe add another layer. It will be pretty subtle. It won't stand out. But I feel like this, though, the curved part, that came out pretty straight. It's not 100%, but that's okay. That's part of the character. And then here, but see how it's dried, so now it's got that nice shape. And I did that just before I started filming this. So, and it's pretty much dry. So I don't know if I'll do a video decorating it or I'll just show you, but some of the thoughts I had were fabric scraps. Well, of course I can't find any, but for instance, I might do something like, cause see how the covers are worn. I could do metal. I don't know, I gotta play around. That's why, but I was thinking it might be fun to do some patchwork fabric ones, or just, you know, like pieces of fabric. So we'll see. Maybe some yo-yos or little bits of lace. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what it tells me it wants, but we're not there yet. So anyway, come back and see what else how I come on these journals. And of course, they do not have to be Little House on the Prairie. Just any old books, hardcover books, this will work for. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.